all these principles and methods that I use are basically one and the same to any scale. It's just a matter of tightening up or broadening out. Like, so when you're really small scale, it's more emphasis on paint, light, and shadow. When you open up to larger scales, it's more about textures and things like that, even though paint is still important. So what I want to do is show you, so I just took this foam, right? Like this is a corner piece for like a facade that I'm building. You can see I just glued two pieces together to get a corner here. You can do that any way you want. You can do this on wood. You can do this on plastic too, right? So what I did was I just skim coated this with Liquitex ceramic paste, right? The paste I use a lot for roads and HO scale and so on. Same thing, right? It's all the same. And if you can do different subjects, like if you're building a long drawn project, it helps to bounce around and try different subjects, because what you learn here will always translate over there, okay? Okay, so having a lot of fun here with this now, and let's talk about another application of color here on the bunker. So you can see what I did here, like I added quite a bit of white, like thinned white. So here's one of the things that I have found in my experience. I don't know how it is for everybody else, but like it's so easy to get dark on a model, like with any kind of weathering or like it doesn't matter what it is. It can be a model railroad boxcar, a Sherman tank, like whatever. It can get dark really fast. So you almost have to lighten the surface in light of the fact that you're adding darker washes later, let's say. You almost have to force yourself, no, go lighter. Like even though you're thinking in your mind, nah, what's with the white here? Why am I going so light? And you know what I find? That it always works out good in the end. Because I'm telling you, if it gets too dark, it's hard to reverse it without having to lay on, you know, another 4 or 5 layers of paint. But anyway, so I'm just going to take my spritzer. I got her topped off again. This is dried nice now. You can see I've added a little bit of white to this, was aged white in the battle damage here. And then I threw in some washes of the same white here. And then I took some of the Tamiya texture paste and added some of that in as well, and it just sort of adds an extra, like you can make that into a wash, that cement, the new stuff by Tamiya. It's called Tamiya texture paste for cement. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet this down. So you see that bunker on the right, that's the one I'm modeling, that one, that's the Canadian, it's a Juno Beach. It's a Tobruk bunker. Notice the wood roof and there's wooden crates. Well, here, I'll just show it to you. This is bizarre. You ever see this before? This is World War II, June 6. Notice the Tobruk bunker unfinished, no roof on it. Notice the World War I, looks like almost, or a water-cooled machine gun. Like it looks like French or something. I mean, it might even be World War I German. See that? You could put that in a model and someone would say, oh, that's not correct. Well, it is, you know, there it is, right? There's the evidence. The Canadians are all right here. So look at the wooden crate full of sand, just a makeshift, the plank blown off, and I guess the sand leaking out, right? Got hit, right? So anyway, kind of cool, eh? And then all the barbed wire on there. You can't see all these lines on here, but I have another photo of this from another angle that's darker, and it looks like this. So you can see how light it looks even in a black and white photograph. I find black and white photographs to be really helpful when you do contrast like this. Okay, so let's take this now and let's stab in a little bit of this color. So this is concrete now, right? This is 71.131 concrete, okay? So remember how we put on, like originally it was the pale blue gray, then we put on some sky blue. We dabbed in, played around with a little bit of light gray, and then came back with some white. I think I might have even put in a few washes of cement too, but those are basically the colors, right? You know, I'll just show you on the bottom here, just to show you how close they are. There's the white. Yeah, see that? So these 4 colors on here, and this is the white here. So now we're gonna stab some of this in on the bottom of these form board lines. We're going to see what it does. We're going to save the very last pin wash of this dark gray blue. Like, we'll just look at it and see. The nice thing about doing layers and waiting, this is already drying right here, is, you know, you don't rush things too fast, eh? So let's take a little bit of this and let's just start right here. Let's just dab in a bit. Try to keep it below the line, because I like the fact that the top of that ridge has white on it. It's like highlight, like the light hitting it. Okay. See how far that goes? You add a bit of water and it just really goes a long ways. I think I mentioned before is if you learn to paint this way, if you got a basic base color, these paints will last a long time because you're only stabbing in a tiny amount. Up a little bit closer. So you see where the white is here? Like, watch, like, you know, like it adds a nice contrast, right? See? That's one of the reasons why I put that white in there. Because when you stab in a little bit of the cement color, did I tell you the number of that one? 71.131 over white, which is over gray, right? So, like, here's another thing too, right? So if you stab in too much like this, that maybe you get a bit nervous with this wet on wet technique. I'll show you what you can do. Like, remember this? So you just, yeah, see how it starts to run? I'm just gonna leave that and see what that does. Wow, I really like that. So, you know, there's a little bit of, you know, whatever that would be, like minerals leaching out of the concrete there. You know, there's salt water, there's weather, rain, lots of crazy stuff going on. Okay, I got to show you this because I'm having way too much fun with this 1/16 scale stuff, okay? And this is one of the advantages to the larger scale when it comes to textures. You can just go all in, right? Like one little area, like one little postage stamp scene. I mean, it's such a small part of the larger diorama in a sense, but it's like, my goodness, you know, the detail that you can go to in the scale. So this is how I do the rebar. And with foam, it's so easy to do. Okay, so I'm going to use this Plastruct right here. Now this is metal. Like that's why it's expensive, but it's metal. It's like it's with plastic coating on it. So you can weld plastic to the outside of this. And when you bend this, right, it holds its shape. It bends like real, you know, metal. And then I'm going to use these for the uprights, number 220, 35 thou rod, like these little bit smaller diameter ones going vertical, and then the horizontal are the metal ones, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you how easy this is to do. So I just take a piece like this, and I've sort of pre-bend it, right? And I'm thinking, okay, where's this going to go? Let's see. Put a little bit bend here. So I'm just going to take it like this. Yeah, I'll just put it in the middle right here. I'm going to shove it in all the way and then pull it back and then back in like that. Okay, see that? Just as easy as that. So I'm going to take another one like this. And let's put this one up here. Yeah, I'll just shove this one in like that. And then this one like that. Okay? And you know how I'm going to seal this in? Just with matte medium. I'll just dribble in matte medium. Or I can use texture paste as well, right? Like, I think I mentioned this before, and I'll just do it again in case people missed out. Like this diorama texture paste by Tamiya, oh, this stuff is so awesome. I'm so glad I mean, I had seen it before, but I use all the acrylics, you know, by Liquitex and Golden, which are really good. but they don't have this resolution of grit. And this has the most incredible properties, like when you thin it with IPA, like 99%, or even water equally, the way it spreads out, like you could almost paint a 3D figurine and it would disperse evenly and not droop down. Everything. It's just really, like, I don't know how they do it. Like, to me, like, I'm telling you, man, like they have the most incredible patent on their paints and products when they do put them out. Okay, so here's another one. I'll just shove that in there like this and then pull it back again. Okay, you can bend it like the shell hit that, poof, you know, and bent the rebar. So you can see I'm just going to paint the rebar, and I basically painted them first with some flesh tone. That way if I put it on thin like a wash, you can see it varies like different rust tones because the flesh tone bleeds through, right? So that's what I'm going to do. Just finish painting these off and then do a few more highlights. Okay, so just finishing up now, I just painted the rebar there with some dark raw umber. So you can see that I'm just using just this white, right? It's not like an opaque base white. It's between the white Model Air and the aged white. So there's several colors. This number is 71.270 white. So it's a little bit, got a little bit of beige color. I try to stay away from pure white, as some of you know by now. I just find it to be a little bit too stark. But so now, like, I'm doing some of the little final details of some of the shrapnel, you know, that would have blown off this projectile when it impacted and just sort of fanned out a bit. So the nice thing is, once again, is because this is foam underneath here with an acrylic skin on it, which isn't cured yet, it's still soft. So what I can do is, you can see here where I put paint, is I can push in the fragmentation indentation, if I can say, a little bit here with this probe. And even the areas that I just painted, I can poke them in a bit too. Like they've just chipped through the surface of the concrete there. Okay, so that pretty much wraps it up pretty good. I mean, there's a point where you have to stop, right, and move on. Now, when this is cured, I'm just going to seal this with Tamiya flat coat. But it's still, you know, I've been going really hard on this. So let me just zoom out for a bit. So I've been going fairly hard on this for a couple of days. So things are still a bit, you know, damp, I guess you could say. But you can see this is a different bunker. You should, almost makes you want to model bunkers. It's cheap to do. It's just pink foam, remember? It's amazing what you can do with foam, right? Okay, so yeah, so pretty happy with that because this is a different style bunker. There'll probably just be an MG34 on the top abandoned or something. Like, I don't really know yet, but this is going to join up with a couple other facades, like the Normandy seawall effect, okay, and it'll get trimmed a bit and then fascia on the front and back. But anyway, that's it for the bunker wall.